Hey, I'm here. Nobody else is, but I'm here. Hello, 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 everyone. Another Sunday. I've got a cat in heat. Drive me nuts. Hello, hello, one person that just showed up. Hello, hello. Aria, get away from my cords. Get, get. Oh, y'all, she's driving me nuts. She's been in heat. Hello, Jennifer Bruce. She's in heat and she feels like she needs to find every cord that's going from my computer to different things, and she needs to rub on them and pull on them and wrap herself up in them, and she ends up unplugging things and pulling stuff off the desk and just driving me absolutely bananas. Aria, get away from the cords. Yes. Oh. Oh, now we got three of you here. Hello, hello. Damn, I forgot and left my glasses out in the truck. That's what I meant to go do earlier and forgot to do. Let's get my glasses. Oh well. I'll try to do this the best I can. Oh, now I can't see it because I turned the light down too much. Oh, I can't see. I can't see nothing. Hi, Hank. Hi. Yeah, you're in the way now. Hello, Bev. These cats today are driving me nuts. Oh, I love them to death. I really do. But some days they're like toddlers. They don't listen. I really need my glasses. Oh, I wonder if those readers will still work. Let me see. Or my eyes gotten so used to normal glasses that readers won't do the job anymore. See, I don't wear my glasses all the time on a regular basis because I only need them like when I'm at home doing diamond painting or, spending a lot of time looking at my phone or doing my paperwork for work, that kind of thing. Well, a lot of times I do my paperwork for work in the morning before I leave to go to work. And I leave them on, and then I get in the truck and I take them off because my sunglasses also are prescription. They have the same prescription ground in as my regular glasses. And so I wear those all day, and I take my glasses off and I put them in the little compartment in my truck. And then I end up leaving them there at the end of the day when I come in home. Hi, Aria. I hear you. Oh, she's driving me nuts, y'all. Yes, exactly, but they have ears, but they don't listen. And Aria, when she's in heat, is the worst at it. It's like she doesn't know I exist or that I have gotten onto her 50 times for the same thing, and she just goes right back to it. I can pick her up and move her away from those cords, and not even a minute later, she's right back at them, doing the same thing. Next thing you know, my mouse goes flying off the desk. My camera goes flying down off the desk. But the microphone goes flying off because there's a gap between my computer and the desk. No, 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 no. Oh. And the cords kind of hang down in that gap across from the desk to the computer. And she gets down in there and just starts pulling on them and trying. She like rubs her face all over them and then tries to roll around and wrap herself up in them. And a lot of times those cords are running in front of other things that are on the back side of the desk, and so those other things go flying off the desk with it. I mean, I had to rearrange I had to reorganize my drill and my Harbor Freight container for this kit because she pulled it off the desk playing with the cords, and all the little containers went flying everywhere. Well, the worst part is I'm sitting here playing Xbox and she just grabs the cord that is my controller cord because I got a 10-foot cord on my controller. And she either yanks the controller out of my hand in the middle of a Call of Duty match or she unplugs the controller. So when Ari is in heat, she spends an awful lot of time locked in the bathroom. I hate to say it, but it's the only way I can keep her from messing anything up. Dreamer nearly went to jail. Hey, Ashley. We got to hear the story, Dreamer. Got stopped by cops and did not realize the registration expired. The registration on the car was expired. How long was it expired for? Well, plus no Arkansas. You have no Arkansas driver's license? Does it matter as long as you have a driver's license? I've never heard of anybody going to jail for expired registration. I mean, I got pulled over with expired tags, and the cop just said, make sure you go get it done. I mean, my tags were expired. I just got it renewed like back in August, and my tags expired in July of 22. And I'd still been driving around for a year and a month with it expired, but never had a cop threaten to take me to jail over it. They just pull you over and say, hey, you know your tag's expired? A lot of times I just like, oh, no, I didn't know that. Thanks for reminding me, officer. I'll go take care of that tomorrow. Thank you. Hell, if they'd have pulled me over sometime in the last year, they'd have got me for expired tags and no insurance. Luckily, for a good chunk of that, from February until August this year, I actually had a company truck, which I'm not supposed to use for personal reasons, but just running up to the gas station to get something to drink in the evening or whatever, you know, who don't know any better? They don't track it, so the only time they pull the GPS data on the truck is if you have an accident. In fact, I've just been a couple of times I had to drive to Meridian, Mississippi to pick up some kratom that I was out of, and I did it after work in the company truck. It's an hour and a half drive either way. Man, I have got cat hair everywhere. Look at that. Big old chunk of cat hair there. But that's what happens when I don't diamond paint for like an entire week. And I just leave it out on the desk like that. I end up with cats using my desk as a place to lay down, place to sit. Hank likes to get up here at night when it's time for the good stuff. And he will sit right in front of me and stare at me until I get it for him. Oh, you didn't have a license at all? Oh, wow. Oh, Bev, that was my son actually. It was funny. I took a picture of when when they repoed it. I had just gone to the dealership to tell them, hey, look, I'll pay it at the end of this week on the 30th when I get paid. I'm sorry, I'll be in here to take care of it. And the girl was like, okay, I'll make a note on the account. And I stopped at the grocery store. And then when I pulled into the parking lot out here, the wrecker was picking it up and towing it away at that moment. So I took a picture of it and I sent it to my son. I was like, well, it looks like I don't have a way to get up and see you anymore. And he ended up using the picture. Luckily, I guess the name of the towing company was, and the number was on the side of the truck. My son called them and talked to them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, no, he can still get the car back. They'll work with him. Blah blah blah." I know those folks. I do a lot of towing for them, and yeah, they'll help him get back in it. So my son ended up calling, and he did a lot of the legwork. Called the dealership and spoke to them, and then called me and put us on a three-way call. And the woman cut me a pretty good deal on to be able to get it back. So I went when I got paid and got it back. At that point in time, the tags were expired. It had no insurance. It now has current valid tags as of August, and it has insurance, but I may let the insurance lap and just drive without it. Save me that 100 something every month. Wow, yeah. See, I can renew online. I don't know about on the phone. I've never thought about trying to call the DMV and getting tags renewed over the phone. Because the one place in the world I hate is going to the DMV. Actually, I won't say that here in Tuscaloosa. It's not so bad here. We've got two separate offices though. We got one office is for tags. You get your car tags in the same office here that you get your fishing license and your hunting license in. Um, but then you've also got the DMV where you go get your driver's license done. So the DMV is really only for driver's licensing purposes only. So it's not as busy as your typical DMV in most states. I've never really spent much time in there at all. It's usually pretty quick. In fact, when I got my license switched over from North Dakota to Alabama, I didn't even have a line to wait in. I just walked in, grabbed a number, and it immediately called my number, and I walked up to the desk and got it done. I wish it was like that everywhere. Man, I used to go to Maryland. You'd be in the DMV half a day just to do something minor. And most of the time, you get there, and there's like a little desk you got to check in at first to get your number, and they go over and make sure you got all the paperwork that you're going to need for your visit. And if one piece of paper is iffy or doesn't look like it'll work to suffice for what they need it for, you got to go home, get that paper, come back, and start all over again before you even get your number. And there's always like 30 people in line in front of you. Wait, if you owe taxes, you can't get your tags in Arkansas? That's wild. I know in some states, if you owe child support, you can't get a driver's license. And I thought, man, you want the person to pay child support, then you want to take away their license so they can't drive to work. So how are they going to make the money to pay for child support? Charges $30 for personal taxes. What are personal taxes? I've never heard of that. Taxes just for being you. Okay. Remind me not to live in Arkansas. It's not as bad as Maryland, though. Almost. Maryland, you can Maryland, you get taxed because of the rain. Maryland has a rain tax. It's part of the reason why I won't move back there. Even though I've got some family there, I won't move back there. Maryland taxes everything. Like literally, they have a rain tax. So the way it works is if you own property, if you own a piece of land and a house, presumably you'd have a house on a piece of land anyway. But if you own a piece of land, you have to measure the footprint of your house and any impervious surfaces like sidewalks, driveways if they're concrete or asphalt, anything like that. And you have to measure up and come up with the entire square footage of impervious surface that you have on your property. And then you get taxed X amount per square foot. Because everything in Maryland is about save the bay, bay runoff, bay water runoff. And so, yeah, now they tax you, they call it the rain tax, because rainwater, if it runs off of an impervious surface, is now polluted and will go into the bay and cause issues in the bay. But what they don't realize is that polluted water, especially when you're miles and miles and miles away from the bay, by the time it makes it to the bay, it's going to have filtered through so much soil and rock that it will be pretty much clean, pure water by the time it gets to the bay. It's ridiculous. And they were even starting to tax chicken farmers, which one of the biggest industries, especially on the Delmarva Peninsula on the eastern side of Maryland, is chicken farming. Because it's relatively inexpensive to get into. All you have to do is build the chicken houses, and then you get basically get yourself set up on a contract with the local chicken companies like Purdue and Mount Air Farms and all of those different companies, and you raise chickens for them. So they send you the hatchlings. Um, they have hatcheries that they run themselves, and then they send out the hatchlings to these chicken farmers to raise into adults, and then the company comes and collects the adult chickens every so often and takes them off to the processing plant to be made into food. And so a lot of people are getting into chicken farming in Maryland. It became really quite profitable to do so, and people were like leaving careers just to become a chicken farmer. And so Maryland decided, well, there's a lot of nitrogen runoff from all the chicken poop, and it goes to the bay, and we got to save the bay. So now we got to tax the amount of chicken poop that your chickens produce every year. And they have some kind of a formula for it based upon the number of chickens you've raised versus, whatever. And they figure out that the average chicken poops this amount during a year, and you have so many chickens, and so many tons of chicken poop that you end up shoveling off the floor of your chicken house every year. You get charged for it. Because what happens is they shovel that stuff off. It forms a layer on the bottom of the chicken house, and they chip that off and shovel it off. And then they sell it to like local crop farmers who then spread that on their fields as fertilizer. Because it is high in nitrogen, and that's what your plants need to grow. And so now they're charging chicken farmers a tax for X amount of tons of poop per year that come from their chickens. So it's just become a ridiculous place to live. The government wants a hand in everything you do. So that's why Dave had to get out of there. The economy there is horrible anyway. Wages are down. Not a lot of places are hiring. And the places that are hiring, you have to be so overly qualified for every position, and then they only want to pay you like $8 an hour. So yeah, Maryland's ridiculously bad to live in. Cost of living is ridiculously high. So that's why when I moved to North Dakota, everything was crazy low. Like wages were above national average for everything. Like McDonald's in Grand Forks was starting at like $14 an hour. It was nuts. And cost of living was really low. Like I had a 2-bedroom apartment just like this one. Right now I'm paying $894 a month for this apartment. In Grand Forks, I was paying $575 for an apartment the same size. My electric bill in Grand Forks was on an expensive month, $50 a month. Down here, it averages me right about $200 a month. So, and this is actually on the low side of places to live. I mean, Tuscaloosa is actually on the lower end as far as cost of living goes. So I can imagine what it's like in places like back in Maryland right now. I couldn't imagine what it's like to live and have to try to make it right now. I'm finally caught up and ahead on everything. I'm ahead on my rent. I'm caught up on everything else. Um, and I'm staying caught up, but it's tough. I'm making just barely enough to do it. I mean, I still have a little fun money left over at the end of the month, so I can't complain. Yesterday, I went to the Alabama game, Alabama Arkansas game. That was a good game. Well, it was a good game in the first half. The second half, we sucked. I'm really surprised we pulled that win out because we sucked in the second half. We dominated the entire first half. And it was so close there at the end, and we needed to hold them. Like, our defense was just crumbling the whole second half. And we really needed to stop there at the end because it was 24-21, and they were marching downfield. And they got the ball back with like 2 minutes to go. And it came down to third down. And I mean, the entire fourth quarter, every single play that they had the ball, the whole stadium was on its feet, screaming as loud as we could to just deafen the players. Because you always do that when the opposing team has the ball. It was so loud, I couldn't hear myself screaming at the top of my lungs. And I can't imagine what it was like down on that field. Oh, that was nuts. It was so loud. The only thing I can compare it to is NASCAR at Bristol Speedway was that loud. Just insanely loud. I lost my voice. I came home last night. I could hardly even talk. And it probably isn't going to make it all the way through this live tonight, to be honest with you. You mean exterminating, Beverly? Yeah. Yep. I'm still an exterminator. I wouldn't do fumigation. That's disgusting. It's bad enough being an exterminator. I couldn't imagine going into a house that needs fumigating. Ugh. I mean, I can imagine going into a house that needs it because it happens to me quite often. A lot of these people, I don't know how people live the way they do. I mean, I'm kind of cluttery and that kind of thing, but man, some of these people live unhealthy. Like, I can't stand going in their house, and I only do it because I'm required to for my job. But there are certain customers, and I see their name pop up on my list for the month. I'm like, oh God, no, I got to go there. Ugh, all this cat hair. I'll be surprised if this section holds the drills on for very long. Too much cat hair is on here. You know what? I have got a little packet of wipes around here somewhere. Don't know what happened to them, but they're around here somewhere. Thank you. Laying on my pants. Lay in the chair. No. Somewhere here I've got a little package of wipes that I could wipe this off. I don't know. Oh, is that them? No, that ain't them. Yeah, Hank, I know. Hold on. Let me look. Nope, I don't see him. Oh. Hey, Odd. Jennifer, this one is it's a picture of my cat Hank. Unfortunately, this had something spilled on it, but it doesn't look the greatest. But it is a picture I took of my cat Hank at some point. I think right after I got him. I got this painting in 2019, right after I got Hank. And I started working on it way back then. And I've put it away and pulled it back out and put it away and pulled it back out several times. And I've still got it. I'm still working on it. This is the famous Hank custom. In fact, I don't know if it's showing right now, but in the bottom right corner of the video, it should be that same picture. I know I have that set as my my watermark for YouTube. It is a custom from Evermoment Diamond Painting on AliExpress, who is my go-to for customs. Always has been. They've been kind of the gold standard for customs in the industry for years. Evermoment has always been the place to go for customs. I do know that Pink Poodle Ashley got a custom done from Dreamer Designs that turned out absolutely stunning. So I am going to try them out for another custom sometime soon when I can. Um, I've never tried a Dreamer Designs yet of any sort, like either normal or custom. So it'd be a first for me for them. Surprising because Dreamer Designs has been around forever, since 2019 or so, I think, is when they got started. Back about the same time I started my channel, Dreamer Designs got started with their putting out diamond paintings. And I've just never bought one. Ah, okay. If I had a better copy of it around here somewhere, I'd show you, but I don't have a better copy of that picture that I can find anywhere around here. Um, it's just a cute picture. He was playing on his cat tree and he was laying on it and had his head up against the post and was kind of turned looking over to the side. And I just happened to snap the picture. It was one of a bunch. Actually, it was more of I think it was a snapshot from a video that I was taking while I was playing with him. And it just happened to look really cool and turned out really nice. And the custom is turning out beautifully. I'm loving how the custom turning out. In fact, I may even have a picture of that. Hold on a second. Um, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Man, I took a lot of pictures of that game yesterday. I do not have a picture of it. That's right. I deleted it off my phone yesterday because I was taking pictures at the game and I ran out of space on my phone. No. Do I have it in my trash? Nope. Emptied my trash. I do not have it. Oh, I know where I do have it though. Got it in Google Photos. Yeah, yesterday's game. The best thing about Alabama is if you have a lower bowl seat ticket, you can go down to the bottom of the stands and you can get right down on field level behind this fence. It's right along the side of the field. It's right behind the sidelines, so you can like walk it back and forth along the sidelines. Basically, you talk to the players, the coaches if they're out there, and you're just right down on the field level. So it's actually really cool. Let's see if I have it on here. There's some rocks. Okay, there's. This is pretty much what I've gotten done on it already because I'm still working on the same section that I was working on in this picture. So there's and it still don't look right because the phone is so bright. Uh, my phone is slow. Let's see if that fixes it. Yeah, there you go. That's the picture. It's a 50 by 75. Yeah, 50 by 75. Like I said, it's from Evermoment on AliExpress. They're kind of the gold standard. Wow. Man, I take a lot of pictures. Just looking through my phone, I'm like, wow, I take a lot of pictures. My problem is Google Photos backs up everything. Like if you take screenshots, it backs those up. And so my Google Photos album is just ridiculously full of crap. And then some useful pictures. Pictures, matter of fact, it's still I've got it saved, but it's in a zip file. Um, I downloaded my entire Google Drive because it was full, and I downloaded the entire thing, and it was like almost a terabyte of pictures, and I put them all on my 8 terabyte uh, external drive that I have here. And then I emptied out all the pictures on my Google Photos so that I could take more pictures. Okay, Bev. Hey, Michelle. Sorry, didn't see you pop in there. I don't know what happened with the spinner thing. I can't tell you. I have gigabit internet, so I should be good. Oh, I know what it is. I was hooked to the Wi-Fi, and most likely when I pulled up Google Photos, it had to load the thumbnail of all the photos. As I was scrolling through, it was loading more thumbnails. I bet that's what happened. Oh, wait. Hold on. I know the problem. Hold on. I know the problem. Hold on. I've still got the Xbox turned on. I was playing Xbox right before I went live, and I just paused it and left it on the game where it was. So actually, I didn't even pause it. I was just in a screen that's in between games. So I'm kind of in a lobby, just standing there. So that's probably what happened. It's probably still Xbox using the whole connection. No, Jennifer, it's probably my side. Bev said her daughter's streaming. I've been thinking about doing Twitch streaming, but not for diamond painting. My son, love my son. My son Wayne, he's been in a few of my videos. Y'all have seen him in the past. I did some lives from his place, as a matter of fact, with him in them. He hit me up, I don't know, a few months ago. Dad, my clan leader for my gaming clan I'm in wants a website. And I told him that you know how to do them. And I told him I'd get you in touch with him about doing a website for the clan. I said, okay. So he got me in touch with him, and the guy asked me, of course, he's like, hey, man, I've had this clan since like 2008, something like that. And he said, you know, we've well over several hundred members now and all over the world, and we really need a website. And he says, he asked me, do you play? And I'm like, no, honestly, I do not. I play, but I don't play the types of games y'all like to play. They play Call of Duty, they play Halo, those kind of things. I never was into those games. I just never could. I was never good at them. It was just one time on the screen for me to try to figure out how to work 20 buttons that are on the controller and make them do what I want them to do. And it was just way too much. I mean, old Nintendo was so easy. You had up, down, left, right, and an A and a B. That was it. And a select and start. But that was it. You had 2 thumb buttons and a little 4-way thumb switch, and that was it. You didn't need all that extra stuff. These Xboxes, they got triggers, bumpers, buttons on top of buttons, 2 joypad, 2 joysticks, and a directional pad on these things. And I've got my controller has buttons on the back side too for your fingers that are on the back side when you're holding it, like there. It's got extra buttons on the back. And man, these new games, they require every button and then some. Some of these buttons have 2 different purposes depending on the situation you're in. So it's like, yeah, I don't play no Call. I said the last time I tried to play, well, I was lived in North Dakota. I was dating this girl, or this woman, and she had a 10-year-old son, and he kept wanting me to come in the room and play Call of Duty with him. And he would set it up, and I'd come in there and sit down and play, and he'd set me up with a controller, and he'd set me up with a character, and we'd start running the thing. He'd put me in a map with a bunch of random people, and I would die like instantly. And he's like, or he would just do a 1v1 with me in a map, and he would just kill me repeatedly over and over and over, and then have the nerve to laugh at me afterwards, talking shit. 10-year-old would talk shit to me because he beat me in Call of Duty. And like, it kind of turned me off from wanting to play it. Well, my son, finally, I got my Xbox Series X and told him I got it. He said, Dad, you need to get Call of Duty. I'm like, son, I hate that game. I'm not going to play Call of Duty. Dad went and bought Call of Duty. Now Dad is addicted to Call of Duty. Dad just bought the Call of Duty, the new one that's pre-ordered. I just pre-ordered the new one. And I'm playing the early access beta for it right now. And Dad is actually halfway decent at Call of Duty. So Dad on Twitch stream for Call of Duty. So I've been thinking about it. I started a Twitch channel. Like, I have my own Twitch as it is, but I was gonna do it for MLB The Show, as what I was thinking about streaming at first. And but now that I'm with Call of Duty, I could probably still do both. I could stream, but a lot of streamers stream other things besides their main game. I've also got Rocket League I could stream too. That's a lot of fun. So I've been thinking about doing some Twitch streaming, and I've looked up how to do it because I can do it straight from the Xbox. I don't need to do it on a PC and have all the extra stuff. I can do it straight from the Xbox. So I'm thinking about doing a Twitch stream. Because I know a lot of my fellow clan mates, because yes, now I'm in the gaming clan too. A lot of my clan mates Twitch stream. So I would be able to, get in with them, send me viewers and followers to get me really started. So debating it. It costs about $4.99 a month to go through Streamlabs, so that way you can connect your Xbox through Streamlabs, so that way that you can get the little things that pop up when somebody subscribes or whatever. You can get, it's kind of like what StreamYard is for us here, but you can add in all those little add-ins that make a noise when somebody subscribes or when somebody donates money or whatever it is you do on Twitch. So I can do Streamlabs and have all of that there, and it connects like flawlessly or seamlessly with your Xbox. And I can plug my camera and microphone into my Xbox as well. And that way I can do my face too while I'm at it. So I don't know. Thinking about it. Because I'm up every night anyway until like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm usually playing the game, so why not? Excuse me. You hear that? He talks back to me, y'all. What? What do you want? It is not time for nothing. Really? Yeah, hi, Hank. I'm saying hi, Hank. There's no room for him to sit anywhere on the desk right now because I've got my, over here on the side, I've got my headset and controller. And then some of my stuff that I need to carry back and forth to work with me is sitting over there. Extra diamond painting stuff. Hank. You're a mess, buddy. I think I got all of that color done. I think. Can't guarantee it. They're all saying hi to you, Hank. He don't care. He's more worried about what Arya's doing. She's down on the floor rolling around, doing her in heat thing. Yeah, it's driving me nuts. That's how I started my live out, getting on to Arya because she's. My desk sits here. Now, off the front of the desk, I can kind of swing it around and show you. See, there's a gap there and there's some wires, and my computer is there. And of course, the TV is up there that y'all are on, watching me on, like right there. Okay. And so she gets down between the computer and the desk, and she wants to like rub her face on all of the wires, and then she wants to get her head. Then what she does, she puts her head up over top of them and pulls them down with her head, and then gets them in her paws, and then she tries to roll them. And so when she does that, she pulls everything off the desk: mouse, camera, microphone, everything. She just pulls it all off the desk. And I spend half the day picking stuff back up off the floor that she's done pulled off the desk while I'm sitting here. And she doesn't go do that anywhere else on anything else, just the wires going across between the desk and the computer. But she only does it when she's in heat. Like Hank doesn't bother them. They hang there all the time. Like when she's not in heat, she doesn't mess with them. They don't pay him a bit of mind until she's in heat, and then she is all over them. And you can pick her up and put her across the room, and in 10 seconds, she's right back up. She belly crawls right back over to where them wires are and starts again. And it's a constant battle of pick her up and move her, pick her up and move her, pick her up and move her. And she's right back at it. I don't understand. What it is about those wires that she is so enamored with when she's in heat. She's not playing with them like, how cats normally play with like strings or wires and stuff. She's not playing with them. Like I said, all she's trying to do is rub her face on them, but in the process, she's pulling them and pulling everything off the desk. And this time around, the heat just seems to be worse than it has been in a while. Hello, Bella the Beast. Long time no see. This is an easy one to do. I've gotten now to where I'm doing confetti. I just go up and down each row. The problem is there's fives and S's right next to each other. And I'm working on the S's right now. So I end up having to look twice at some of them. There we go. Well, I'm finding more of the Z's that I missed in the last letter. And I think that's all of them. No, two more. Right down here in the corner. There. I have been crazy busy myself. Work, 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 work. And then when I come home, I work some more. I have my job is basically just keep me really busy, and then when I get home, I still have work to do for the job from home. So I pull, 9 hours at work every day, and then come home and work another hour or two in the afternoon or in the evening when I get home. And then I usually spend Sunday afternoon, or at least part of it, calling customers to get myself scheduled as far ahead for the next week as I can. I'm supposed to stay scheduled 3 days out. Right now, I'm scheduled fully booked for tomorrow and only partially booked for Tuesday and Wednesday because I had a customer get on to me today, called him trying to schedule for tomorrow, and he got upset. Why are you calling me on a Sunday? Because I tried calling during the week and can't get a hold of you. So I do my calling on Sunday when I know most people are at home. So I'll spend an hour or two on Sundays just trying to call and schedule and get things set up. Most of our guys do, but this customer in particular just didn't like the idea that I was calling him on a Sunday. But I kind of remember I'm living in the Bible Belt. These old Southern Baptists down here don't believe in doing nothing on Sunday but drinking beer and watching football on Sunday afternoon. That's why you're not allowed to buy beer on Sunday before noon, is because Southern Baptists don't want the place to be out of beer before they get out of church. You know what? I have not watched a NASCAR race now in several weeks. I haven't watched any of the playoffs at all this year. Any of the NASCAR playoffs at all this year, because I spend my Sundays trying to call customers. And then when I get done calling customers, I fire up the Xbox and I've been playing Call of Duty, but that's a different story. I literally had to switch over from, actually this afternoon I was playing MLB The Show all day today, and I had just literally finished a baseball game, and I looked at the clock and said, "Oh damn, it's 7:59. I better switch over and go live." Oh, I remember. In some states, you still can't buy on Sundays at all. Just all depends on, really, it all depends on how majority religious your state is. Um, in Maryland, you could not buy at all on Sundays. You still can't. Starting at midnight Saturday night until, or no, it's like 6 a.m. Sunday morning. From 6 a.m. Sunday morning until midnight Sunday night, you can't buy alcohol or something like that. Because I remember a buddy of mine and I went one night. We'd been at the house drinking, ran out of beer kind of early, and the local stores in town were all closed already because we lived in a small town. Everything closed early. Nothing was open 24 hours then. And so we drove to the neighboring town. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know that store in the neighboring town. They still sell beer. They're still open. So let's head over there. So we go to the neighboring town. And, of course, my buddy is a pothead. This guy was. And there was two cops parked there in the parking lot at the next store we were going to go to. He was like, no, man, there's cops there. No, and he's paranoid. So I ended up driving on bypass. We probably could have bought our beer there and gone home and been good to go. No, instead I was like, well, I know there's a store up in Marydale. Let's drive up there. So we drive 20 minutes up to Marydale to go to the store up there. It's closed. So I was like, well, you know what? There's stuff in Dover. We can drive to Dover. We drive all the way to Dover, Delaware. Can't find anything open. So we take, at that point, it was Route 13 south out of Dover. You took Route 13 south. We stopped at every single place we could find along the place, and all of them were closed. We got almost all the way down to Salisbury, Maryland, and we couldn't find anything open down there. So we took Route 50 back up from Salisbury and drove all the way to Easton, Maryland, which is, that's about 45 minutes. And got all the way back to Easton and finally found a store that sold beer that was open. It was daylight by then on Sunday morning. Didn't stop to think it was Sunday morning. Pulled up in there, went and got beer out of the beer cooler, walked up to the front, put it on the counter, and the guy's like, oh, no, my friend. No, I cannot sell you. I said, what? Oh, no, my friend. Sunday. You cannot buy. You'll come back tonight. You'll come back tomorrow. Tomorrow I buy. I was like, oh my God, it's Sunday. I forgot. Ended up going home after driving all night long, literally, like from like 8 o'clock or like 11 o'clock at night until we didn't get home to my house because Easton's a half hour from my house. We didn't get back home to my house until like 8 o'clock in the morning. We went on the world's longest unsuccessful beer run ever. No, you're on the east. You're on the west coast, Jennifer. It was. It was sad and funny. We still laugh about it to this day when I see him. I go back to if I ever go back to Maryland to visit, I run into him. We still laugh about that night. That was in 2005. No, no, I take that back. No, that's wrong. That was 19. That was 1993. Jeez, man, it's been that long. Oh, southeastern corner, Arizona. I love Arizona. Love driving through there. I still want to get down there at some point. Here, y'all say hi to Hank. He's itching to get in front of the camera. Here, say hi to Hank. Hi, Hank. But see, it's kind of weird because in North Dakota, the whole time I lived there from 2016 until August of 2020, they still had blue laws up there. Um, like retail businesses, including Walmart, Target, Lowe's, Home Depot, all the big box stores, any place that's a retail store was not allowed to be open before noon on Sunday. State law. And they had just passed the state legislature had just passed a bill for doing away with the blue laws in the state, and it did not go into effect until like a week before we moved away and moved down here. So yeah, they still have blue laws up there. 4,200 feet of altitude in Arizona's southeastern corner. See, I want to make it back to Arizona. There's a lot of places in the country I want to go back to from when I was a truck driver, and I got to drive all the way across the country back and forth. But I never could get to go to all of these places that I wanted to go because you just can't get a truck there, or it was too far off the beaten path to, be able to stop and go to while I'm passing through because I just didn't have the time. And I want to do all that. One of my goal for retirement is to buy an RV and tow my car behind it and just live out of the RV from campground to campground around the country, and using each campground as a base of operations to see everything in that area around there. One of my goals is to get down. I want to see Tombstone. I want to go down to Tombstone, Arizona, and see Tombstone. It's kind of one of my goals to get down there. And I want to see the meteor crater. I've been past it on the highway numerous times and never actually got to get off the highway and go down to where it's at. There's just so many things. So many places left unexplored that I want to explore before I'm off this earth. So I figured that's my goal for retirement is I know the highway systems around the U.S. so well, and I know where everything is. I've been back and forth past it for years when I was a truck driver, that I just never got to see it. I never got to go see the Grand Canyon or the Hoover Dam. Just all of these places that I'd love to go see. I drove up and down the Vegas Strip once in a truck. That was interesting. It was me and a co-driver, and we drove up the strip one way. I drove while we went north up the strip, and then we got to the other end and we turned around and we went south down the strip, and he drove so that I could hang out the window and look at everything. And then we got back on the highway and left and had to keep on going. But we just took that opportunity while we had it and we were driving through. So, hell, let's drive up and down the strip a couple times and see it. But it's changed so much since I was there last. So, because that was in the early 2000s, like 2002. So a lot's changed since then. Oh, okay. Well, it'll be quite a few years before I get to that point. I mean, I'm only 50. So I still got a good 15 years or more before I retire. Probably more. And my dream for retirement may not happen. It just depends on how I am financially at time of retirement. Because you need to have money to be able to fill that RV up to drive so much. So maybe I could work odd jobs or something along the route to earn some extra cash to get to the next stop. I don't know. I could hobo it around the country in high fashion. There we go. A high class hobo. That would make for a hell of a YouTube channel, wouldn't it? I could name it that too. That'd be the name of the channel, High Class Hobo. I could film my adventures like vlogs and upload them. I could be pretty successful at that too, I bet. Maybe even successful enough that I wouldn't even need to actually work odd jobs. I could just earn money from YouTube and use that to get around the country. Oh, I know there's some people that do. There's one guy I like watching him. He's kind of neat. Um, he actually is like he's a hobo. He's a train hopper, and he does YouTube hopping trains going from town to town, riding the rails on the freight trains. It's highly illegal. He's filming himself doing something that's very illegal, but there's a whole bunch of people that do it. And he's actually a really successful YouTuber. In fact, I think he was recently diagnosed with cancer, but he's still hopping trains. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hi. Can I help you? So we're just going to sit here like that now in the way? Is that what we're doing now? Hmm? You got nothing better to do with your life than sit right here in the way. Really? Yeah. Yep. So this is what we're doing now. We're sitting here in the way, just Hank. You're a mess, buddy. He doesn't even want to do anything. He just wants to sit here. He's not looking at me. He's not paying attention to me. He's just sitting there. He's not looking at what I'm doing. He's not. Hank, what is up with you, buddy? Hmm? He's going to sleep. He's sitting here going to sleep. Really? 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 Yeah. Hi. Yes, he wants to share space. He wants all of the space. He's such a little creature, but he takes up so much space. Hi, bud. Hi, buddy. Okay. No, 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 no. We're not doing that. Well, now we're gonna knock over the monster can with our tail. Yes, that's what we're gonna do. Hi. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. You're gonna lick some of the chicken wing sauce off my mouth that I didn't clean off. Is that it? Hmm? I had wings for dinner. He's up here sniffing the sides of my mouth where I. Oh, now you're gonna lick your paws, huh? You got a little bit of that warm sauce in your on your tongue now, huh? Is that it? Maybe you realize that wasn't a great idea. I'm finding ones that the drills fell out, and I'm replacing them as I'm going. Da, 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 do. All right. Excuse me, Hank. Oh, wait. I'm still finding little food bits that are stuck in there. Crumbs. All right. That's all of that letter. $11. All right, we're halfway through the first box of drills. There's a lot of confetti, y'all. That's the reason why I only work on this for a little bit and I get tired of it and work on something else, because this thing is all confetti. I mean, you can see there, that's only 12 colors. And they're like scattered all over the place. And they are actually all different colors. It's just the camera isn't picking up the differences between some of the light grays and the different shades of beige and dark grays. And oh yeah, I'm working on it again. Like I said, I work on it for a little while and then I get tired of doing the confetti thing and I put it away. It's a multi-year work in progress. That's all. And hello, Debbie. How are you? Hank, I'm a doodle. I love my Hank. I do, I do. Hank, I'm a doodles. Okay, come on. Here. Get up here and sit on the back of the chair. That's kind of your favorite spot. You like being there. Okay, there you go. There you go. Yeah, lay down, buddy. Lay down. No. Okay. Yeah, you can lay down on the arm of the chair. There you go. There's a place for you. Yeah, that's a better place. It's better than being on my desk, in my way, right in front of me. No, there's no space there for you. Okay. Yeah, we miss you too, Debbie. I don't see your name pop up that often anymore. No, Hank. We're done now. I can't believe Arya's being quiet. It's kind of peaceful. That's why it's not sticky right there. One of the drills I had just put down was just like coming right off. There we go. It's stuck on there now. Now that one's... There is so much hair stuck on this. I tell everybody this one is actually going to be a true 5D diamond painting, because when you run your hand across this one, you can actually feel Hank because there's that much fur stuck in it. Yes, yes, I am, Debbie. Still doing pest control. Not bad. It's got its advantages. It's you make a lot of money, but and maybe it's not this bad at other companies. I don't know, but just in particular, it's just it's no fun. Like going out and doing the job, going to people's houses and visiting with customers. Most of my customers are really cool people, and I get along well, and we talk and everything, and it's kind of enjoyable to go visit with them. That's not the not fun part. The not fun part is all of the micromanagement that I don't, maybe it's just my boss in particular is just that kind of person who feels that he has to micromanage every little tiny thing that just drives me nuts. It's like I'll get a text in the middle of the day. How come you've only got 5 scheduled for tomorrow? Why does it matter as long as I get enough done tomorrow? As long as I finish my route, why does it matter how many days ahead I'm scheduled? I mean, it just drives me nuts constantly. Just text about this and text about that. How come this? How come that? Why not this? Why not that? Why didn't you do 10 today instead of 8? Why did you finish at 4:15 instead of 5? You had enough time to get another stop in there. Geez, why does it matter? I still get my route done every month. I cut it close some months, but I still get it done. It just, the constant micromanaging. And now the company is going to a policy of right now our workday is supposed to be 8 to 5. Okay. Um, that's supposed to be our work date. I mean, technically I'm supposed to be scheduling my first stop at 8 and finishing up my last stop, or maybe even arriving at my last stop at 5. But in a perfect world, finishing up my last stop at 5. That's what's supposed to happen. The problem is when you are dealing with customers that you have to schedule visits with who aren't available for you to show up at 8 o'clock in the morning, or because you have an apartment complex that needs to be done every week or every other week, but there's nobody in the office until 9, but you don't have any stops close by there to schedule beforehand, so you have to schedule your first stop for 9:15, be able, give time for the employee to get to, or get the manager to get to the apartment complex or whatever. So you schedule your first stop at 9:15. It's, then they want to know why don't you have anything scheduled before 9? Well, because, it doesn't work out well, and my schedule just doesn't work out. I have to have this. Or another one is I go to a stop. I have an apartment complex that I do that's an hour and a half south of here. So the apartment manager is not in there until 9. So I can't show up before 9 because there wouldn't be a maintenance guy to go around with me to go to all the apartments, and the manager wouldn't be there to fill me in on extra stuff that needs to be done or whatever for that visit. So I can't schedule that until 9 o'clock. Well, the problem is it takes me an hour and a half to drive down there. So I schedule it for 9:30. So that way, as long as I leave the office around 8, I can still get there around 9:30. Then they throw a fit of how come I didn't schedule something for on the way down there? Well, because there's not enough time. I already get to work every morning between 7 and 7:30 if I don't oversleep. And I have to fill up my truck with water. I have to turn my paperwork in. Me and my service manager have to go over the paperwork to make sure I got all the tickets I was supposed to have from the day before and everything's right. And I have to get in the cage. So I have to get him to get me in the cage to get any chemicals I need for that day. If I'm out of whatever chemicals or whatever, I need to replenish them. And I need to go in and do what we call the board, which is we have to write down how many stops we did the day before and subtract it from the total amount of stops we had for the month, so the boss has something he can look at to see how far along we are on our. That's the only reason why we have to do that, just so the boss can go in and look at it and make himself feel good, ease his anxiety. We have to fill that out. So I've got to go in and do that every morning and fill out the sales board, which usually is a bunch of zeros for me. This month I do have a $220 sale, so I feel good about that. And I've got a $3,000 some sale out there. I'm just waiting to see if they sign it. But if they sign it, then that's a good payday for me because I get to go do that job too. So that's a 26% on the job plus 15% of the sale. So yeah, pretty good money. So I mean, it's like there is no such thing as a perfect world. You can say ideally how you would like things done, but now they've changed it. Now they want us to start our day. Our first stop has to be scheduled for 7:30 a.m., which means I have to be arriving at the customer's house at 7:30 in the morning. How many customers do you know that want their pest control guy showing up at their house at 7:30 in the morning? Not very many. And we have to be showing up to or working on our final stop at 4:30 in the afternoon. And they want us to get 10 stops a day done. Well, then here's the problem. I started my month out with 152 stops to do. 155, I'm sorry. So if I do 10 stops a day, then I only need 15 days to get my entire route done. What am I going to do the last second half of the month? Of course, the boss says, oh, I've got stops you can go do. Yeah, but right now, pretty much all of us have the same amount of stops, and we're all getting it done to where we don't need somebody else to take any off of us. And I'd be pretty damn pissed if somebody else finished theirs earlier in the month because I get paid commission off what I do off production. So if you take stops off of my route and give them to somebody else, that's taking money out of my pocket. I'd be kind of pissed if I was somebody else and they took my stops away and gave them to someone else because they finished their route earlier than you did. So what am I going to do for 15 days? You're going to send me home and pay me to sit at home for 15 days and be on call? Okay, I'll sit at home and be on call. You're going to send me an initial every now and then, and I'll get to go run and do an initial for you. But what else? It would be understandable if we had 250 stops on each one of us that we would need to do 10 a day. Because the average work month, like this month, we didn't have any days off this month for holidays or anything. Well, Labor Day. No, it's October. So now, October, we don't have any days off for holidays. So this month we have 23 working days, 22 or 23 working days if you don't count Saturday. So theoretically, I could do 10 stops a day and get 220 stops done. So I could understand it wanting us to do that if we all had 200 and some stops to do. But we all only have, 150 stops each to do. And with the way customers are with scheduling, a lot of times you don't finish your last stop until the last possible day because you just could not come up with a better time for that customer. And it's getting down to that point now where I call them and I'm like, hey, I got you on my list to do pest control. I'm going to be in town, Wednesday. What time is good on Wednesday after 12? Because I'm booked till 12 already. And most of them say, well, this week isn't good. Can you give me a call next week? Can you give me a call? I'm going out of town for 10 days. Can can we meet up after that? So you're getting to that point now where you're getting close to the end of the month. I'm halfway through and I've got customers that I can't see until the last week of the month because it's not convenient for them. But I did. Okay, here's the funny thing. Last weekend, Dave's bad guy. Dave was bad. Dave overslept last Friday. Now, every Friday morning we have a meeting. At 7:30 a.m. sharp, he starts the meeting, whether you're there or not. If you show up late to the meeting, then you have to read out loud in front of everybody the company vision statement and the company mission statement. And the who we are board. It's a board of like 10 bullet points of who we are. And you have to read those 3 posters out loud in front of everybody if you're late to meeting. Well, Dave overslept last Friday. And when I mess up, I don't mess up in a little bit. So it wasn't like I was 15 minutes late getting to the meeting. No. Dave overslept 3 hours. I didn't show up to work last Friday till 11 o'clock in the morning. So I was actually closer to 4 hours late. Boss wasn't happy, to say the least. He could have fired me, but he did write me up. He says, I got to write you up this time because I have been late before quite a bit. I sleep right through alarms. I cannot find alarms that wake me up. They don't work. I can't hear them. I sleep right through them, literally. Partially because I don't have a sleep cycle per se. It's not like I come home from work, I call customers, I eat dinner, I chill out for 2 hours and then go to bed at a decent hour and then get up early in the morning and go to work. I'm not normal like that. I'm just not. And I can't be normal like that. I don't know how to be. I've never been normal like that. I come home from work, I spend about an hour or 2 calling customers. And then here lately it's been, I get on Call of Duty and I sit and play the game until like 3 o'clock in the morning. Then I go to bed. When I finally feel tired, I actually go to bed. When I'm sitting here and I start dozing off in the chair is when I go to bed. And that doesn't usually happen till like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I've got to be up at 5:45 to go to work. Well, to get ready for work. I mean, I don't have to be up at 5:45. I can be ready for work in a half hour. So if I have to be, I hate rushing like that because then I feel rushed the rest of the day if I have to rush in the morning to get ready. So I like to take my time getting ready. I like to get up at 5:45 to be to work by between 7 and 7:30. So I set my alarm for 5:45, and then I have another one set for 6, another one set for 6:15, another one set for 6:30, another one set for 6:45. And if by God, if I sleep through all of those, I've got one set for 7. Which if I got one set for 7, I've got to get up out of the bed, jump into my clothes, out the door, in the truck, and go to work. I don't have time to do anything around the house in the morning whatsoever. So I normally hear the 6 or 6:30 alarm, and I get up with them. But that day, for whatever reason, it just kind of caught up to me a day earlier than I needed it to, I guess. And I slept through till 10 a.m. I woke up at 10. And I didn't hear none of my alarms, no nothing. Got to work, worked all day, Still put in 8 stops, which is a decent day. Still got 8 stops done in less time than it took everybody else to do 8. So, the boss knows when I'm there, I'm going to get my job done. I'm going to get the stuff done. He should know that by now. He doesn't understand that when he looks at my schedule. How come you only got 5 for today? Don't worry, I can fill in. I know what I'm doing here. He doesn't trust me that I can fill in and get stuff done, but he should by now. So I got it all done. I was off for the weekend, went back to work Monday, worked all week. Well, this past Friday morning, we had our morning meeting, and we were sitting there, and he's like, oh, and we had the collections contest going, and here's how y'all did. And he starts calling out everybody, because what we have to do is collect for the service at the time of service. We're supposed to be anyway. And a lot of guys don't. Like, people are afraid to ask customers for money. It's like, how are you afraid to ask a customer for money for doing the service that you just performed for them? Doesn't make any sense. So I guess he had to incentivize us to do the job that we're supposed to be doing, which my customers I've already trained. I've had most of these customers now since February, and most of them were used to not paying at time of service. So they're used to, they always send me a bill. No, they don't send you a bill. They send you a statement because you're carrying a balance over. Your bill is the ticket that I hand you when I leave. You're supposed to pay me at time of service. Most of my customers know that now. They have a check ready, or they write me a check while I'm there, or they have a credit card on file and I can charge it while I'm standing there with them. Or some of them even have it on auto bill now. So most of my customers, I collect the money from. And so he starts going over these numbers, and he's like, this guy, you had so-and-so, and this guy, you had so-and-so, and this guy, you had such and such for collections. And our winner is Dave, $670 some in collections. And I said, our winner? He said, yeah, you can see me for your gift card, Monday. I'm like, gift card? And he's like, you didn't hear about our contest? We announced it last Friday. He's like, oh yeah, that's right. You weren't here last Friday. I won a contest I didn't even know I was competing in. Just because I'm doing my job. I mean, it's pretty bad when you have to incentivize people to do their job the way they're supposed to be doing it by having a contest and giving them a gift card if they win it, in order to get them to do the job they're supposed to be doing all along anyway. And the guy that ends up winning didn't even know he was in a contest and won it just because he did his job. I don't know how much the gift card is. I don't know what it's for. I know nothing. I had no idea there was a contest and I won it. Everybody was trying to tell him that I wasn't allowed to win because I wasn't there when they announced it. And I'm like, well, you know what? I can argue that I deserve to win because I didn't even know about a contest, so I wasn't competing to try to win one, and I still got it. So that meant I was doing my job better than everybody else was. So I do deserve to win. Thank you very much. I am not doing much diamond painting. Yo, I really am not. I'm working on number 5s. There's a lot of them in this one. 5. Hello, Diane. Are you working on your Evermoment custom you got? Diane just she messaged me on Facebook about where I would get where I would recommend a custom from, and I recommended Evermoment because she had a picture of her kitty that passed away that she wanted done, and I know for a fact Evermoment would do it right, and so she just got it in not long ago. She sent me a picture of it. Looks like they did a good job with it, so can't wait to see it when you get it done. Oh, it's a kitten for your ex-boyfriend's sister. Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be an image of your cat that passed away. I didn't. All I know is that the canvas you took a picture of and sent me, it looks phenomenal. I mean, it looks like it's going to turn out nice. The one thing that I'm not a huge fan of with Evermoment, and I maybe they've changed it, but I don't think so because looking at hers, it looks like they haven't changed it. Is the printing on the canvas itself kind of looks like a negative sometimes of the image that you're going to do, and you don't really get to see how it's actually going to look until you do it because the colors sometimes look way off. Like this one here looks like a photo negative of the image that I sent them. If I was to lay it out and show it to you, I mean, there's a video, you can go back and look at it back in 2019 of when I unboxed this one, and it looks like a photo negative. So it's like really was messed up looking. So there's no way to know how that was actually going to turn out until you work it up. And the more I get done on this one, the most amazing. It looks perfect, but it's just really hard to tell. But looking at her canvas, and you can see that some of the color is there and where it's supposed to be, it's going to turn out nice. But that's my only gripe with Evermoment. But I understand why they do it because if you look at their canvas, you still need a. Well, I don't know if you still do now or not, but I need a light pad on this one. This is one of the few canvases I have that I absolutely need a light pad on. Because it is printed so dark, but I understand why they do it because if they would have printed it in the colors that it was supposed to be in, this canvas would be almost impossible to read. Yeah, the symbols are small. Yeah. But they do have a Facebook group, Evermoment does, and they do take a lot. They ask the customers before they make a change. They're like, would you prefer this or this? Would you prefer we change to this or change to that? And they ask the customers before they make any changes, which is really cool. They recently changed up their printing. I know because they were talking about, like, would you much rather have white lines in between for the grid, or would you rather have black ones still? Stuff like that. And that's why I would recommend Evermoment, because they do listen to their customers to make changes better. They're kind of like the, yeah, I almost call them like the Diamond Art Club of AliExpress, because they just do that good of a job. I haven't really heard of that many complaints on Evermoment canvases. And I've heard very, very few stories of people running out of drills, because they usually tend to send way more than what you need. And they were one of the first, if not the only at one time, that was actually sending their canvases in a tube, in a hard cardboard tube. And they always included something extra in there, like a little charm or a cover minder, or, well, they didn't have cover minders then. They would always send you a little something extra um, along with your order. Wow. It's the first time my phone's actually gone off in a while. Oh, man, I have got to clear off. I have got to clear off notifications on my phone. I haven't cleared my notifications in forever. Uh, Man, I had some high hopes this year. My 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 Orioles had a magical season this year. 101 wins. They made it to the wild card, or the AL. They made it to the. Jeez, they made it to the postseason, and then they immediately lost the first three games of the postseason and got knocked out. I was so high on my Orioles this year. I thought they were going to be the only ones that could actually give the Braves a run for their money this year. It sounds like the Braves got taken down too, which is odd because they look like to be the only team that was going to win the World Series this year. But my Ravens are looking good. I don't know if they won or lost today, and they played in London this week, so I can't remember. I don't know if they won or lost. Um, and Alabama's okay. They're winning. I'm not going to say they're looking good because they're winning in very ugly fashion every game. Uh, but Georgia's kind of struggling too against lower quality teams this year. So if Alabama can continue and win out the season and finish the season with only one loss, we're going to be in the playoffs. And more than likely, we're going to end up taking on Georgia. And I think by then, maybe we'll have our stuff together and can actually put together a full 4 quarters of football in a game. And we might actually give Georgia a good run for their money, if not beat them pretty easily, because they have a cupcake schedule this year. Georgia isn't having to try very hard, but or they shouldn't be having to try very hard versus, looking at the quality of teams they're playing against this year. Their strength of schedule is like last in the country. They might as well just be playing a bunch of junior colleges. But they're struggling against some of these teams that they shouldn't be, and Alabama has been too. So I don't know if we can actually get our team to put together four full quarters of football every game. We might be able to take Georgia on and beat them this year for the national championship, but remains to be seen. We got to get there first. Yesterday was not 4 full quarters. It looked like somebody told our boys that they could just take the second half of the game off after halftime, because they came out after halftime, didn't do nothing, scored a field goal. That's it. Arkansas came back from a 24-6 deficit. Oh no, a 21-6 at halftime. It was 21-6 at halftime. We scored a field goal in the third quarter, right near the end of the third quarter. But Arkansas came back and made it 24-21. And if the crowd had not gotten as loud as we did and caused them to mess up on offense and allowed us to get a sack on them at the end for that last stop, they probably would have scored another touchdown and beat us. I was there. I saw it. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And I'm like, how did this team go from dominating in the first half to not doing nothing? Why? During the first half, they were handing the ball off, and our guy was running it right up the middle, right through the line, right down the field, 20, 30 yards every carry. Man, we were killing them on the ground. Milroe was throwing it through the air with long passes, dropping them right in the receiver's hands. It was beautiful. It was like this team could do no wrong the first half. Second half, the other team adjusted. They stopped the run. We weren't able to run right up the middle anymore like we had been. They figured out how to close that hole. But what did we do the whole second half? Kept trying to run it right up the middle every play. It's like, who's calling these stupid plays? They're stopping it. Why do you keep trying to do it? And then Milroe just kind of lost his ability to throw the ball. I don't know what. I mean, he had wide open receivers and couldn't even put it in their hands. And then the ones that did get it in their hands couldn't hold on to it. It's like the whole team just decided to take the second half off and hope like hell that 21 was enough to win the game. I mean, we were sitting there in the stands watching it going, why did they just do that? See, Alabama has a thing, and it's a way to remind the players and everybody that you keep pushing till the end. You keep going until the game is over. You don't stop fighting until the game is over. Where it used to be, and I didn't see any of the players doing it yesterday, which kind of surprised me because Saban normally drills it into them. The fourth quarter, when the quarter switches over from the third to the fourth, the entire stands and the whole sideline normally holds 4 fingers in the air saying, okay, fourth quarter, we still got to keep fighting. We still got to keep going. I didn't see a single player doing it. I hardly saw any of the fans doing it. It's like they've lost that drive to play to the end. There's lack of discipline on this team this year, too. Saban even said it in his press conference. Somebody asked him a question about something. He said, well, maybe I need to text it to all the players because that seems to be the only way to get through to them. Maybe I need to text the game plan to them every week because I can't seem to get through to them any other way. It's a lack of discipline on this team. Now that they've got the NIL deals so they can get paid to play in college. These guys feel like they're already in the pros. They don't have anything to play towards because they're already making money like they would in the pros. Some of these players, Bryce Young left here last year when he got drafted to Carolina, first overall in the college draft. He was already making $3 million a year with NIL deals. Most players that go to the NFL draft out of college, most of them start on a rookie contract, unless they're the really good ones. Like now, first round will make a decent contract to start in the NFL on a rookie contract. But most of those guys get to the NFL and they're automatically locked into a $500,000 a year contract for at least the first year until they've proven themselves. And a lot of these players now are leaving college, even the ones that are like, second round. Some of them are making $1 million a year out of college before they even go pro. So what do they have to work towards if they're getting paid that much in college to play college ball? So now it's like they get in college, they feel like they've already got it made. They don't feel the need to play harder and prove themselves because they're already getting paid millions of dollars just to go to college and play football. That scholarship ought to be enough incentive for them to bust their ass. And looking at the fact that, when you get to the pros, you're going to make that big money. And it's proven now that it's showing that incentive of if I bust my ass in college and I play hard and I get myself up there high in the draft standings, when I get drafted, I'm going to make that big money when I get to the pros. And they tried hard. And that's why you've seen so many college teams like Alabama was so dominant because, one, Nick Saban's a hell of a recruiter. He knows how to get the best players. But they had something to play for. They had a reason to play hard for 3-4 years to get to the pros. Now they don't have that reason. They're already making pro money their first year in college. And then on top of that, if they come to a school like Alabama where they have to prove themselves to be a starter, we have so many 5-star players that we actually have 5-star recruits riding the bench, 3rd and 4th string. Players that would be good enough to start at most other schools are riding the bench at ours because we have better players starting. And so these kids know now, if I go to Alabama and I don't get to start, I'll just go in the transfer portal and I'll go to another school where I'll get to. So they've got no incentive to try hard. It's just that there is no incentive anymore for these kids to try hard. So there's a discipline problem on our team. And that's what the downfall of Alabama is right now. Nick Saban is an awesome coach, probably one of the best college coaches that ever lived. But even he cannot get these kids to pull it together and discipline themselves. And also, Nick Saban has not been the Nick Saban of old. I mean, the guy is 72 years old. Or he will be 72 when the day that the college football playoff rankings are announced, the first playoff rankings are announced, he will be 72. That's his birthday. He hasn't been the same Nick Saban. I haven't seen him destroy a headset in several years. He used to be known for getting mad, throwing that headset off the ground and getting in refs' faces and chewing them out. And he just kind of mellowed out a lot in the past few years. And he hasn't been that Nick Saban that was grabbing players by the jersey and getting in their faces. And he needs to go back to being that Nick Saban. And his wife told him that after, was it the Florida State game? I can't remember. Yeah, was it the Florida State or the one right before that? There was the one right before Texas A&M when they weren't looking good in the first half, and they came out in the second half and looked better. And that's because Miss Terry told Nick Saban, you need to start chewing some asses again. And he says he did because he always does what Miss Terry tells him to do. But on that note, y'all, it is 10 p.m. And my lives now are 2-hour lives. So it's after 10. I'm kind of ran a little over tonight. So I'm going to take off, get off of here. I got some paperwork here I got to do for work. I got some right here I got to do for work. And I got to get it all of my sheet filled out there with my times and everything on it. Yeah, I'm sorry there wasn't a whole lot to watch tonight, Odd. A whole lot of me picking fur off of the canvas. Which I'm still doing. But yeah, been a good week. My voice actually held out. I'm really surprised because I thought for sure I was gonna lose it halfway through because man, yesterday was so much screaming at that game. I had no voice when I got home last night. None. I couldn't even talk to the cats. And this morning it was in and out. But it was a fun time. Got a lot of pictures and video. Maybe I'll put together a video. Show y'all what a game day at Alabama is like. But until then, I will see y'all next Sunday. So until then, take care of yourselves, take care of everybody else, and rock on, y'all. Roll Tide.